Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on match day. The big day has arrived for Arsenal. 2-1 down against Villarreal going into tonight's semi-final second leg at the Emirates. Can they turn things around? Can they salvage their season and give themselves a chance of a second Europa League final in 3 years and the possibility of returning to the Champions League? That is what's on offer tonight. That is the pressure that the players and Mikel Arteta are going to have to deal with. There's no room for error. They let themselves down last week in the first leg at Villarreal. Were very, very fortunate to get themselves out of that tie with the tie still alive. And now tonight they've got to make sure they make no more mistakes and they score at least one goal to get themselves through. Obviously that away goal by Nicolas Pepe, so important. That penalty with about 20 or 15 minutes remaining last week. It's given them a chance. Given their home form this season, though, you have to think it's going to be a struggle, and I'm not sure one goal is going to be enough. Will Arsenal keep a clean sheet tonight? I don't know. I think that is the big question. You fancy them to score. They tend to score. But will they keep a clean sheet? And if they don't, then how much can Arsenal? Have they got the capability of going and scoring possibly 2 or 3 goals tonight? We shall find out, but it is a massive game. So wherever you're watching that around the world, fingers crossed, we get exactly what we're all hoping for. Mikel obviously been speaking about it before. Arsenal have got European football on the line here. If they lose tonight and go out, then it's looking pretty certain they won't be playing European football next season. That is the first time in 25 years that will have happened. Arsenal constantly around Europe's top tables, whether it be the Champions League or the Europa League, but now that qualification hinges really on getting through tonight and then beating what looks like it's going to be Manchester United in the final. Mikel Arteta was asked about, missing out on European football and what European football gives to you, really. And he said, look, it gives you the platform visually first, then because it's related to our history and the demands that this club has got, then it becomes obviously financially the way to attract sponsors, players, to improve your squad and challenge for big trophies. You're going to have to be in Europe, and that's the big challenge that we have ahead of us. And when asked what he would do differently tonight than what happened last week, really, how he would approach the game or how the players need to approach the game differently to what happened in the first leg, he said, well, the way we started the game, that's for sure. There are some things that we talked about, and we conceded an early goal, which I think was difficult to swallow, and it took us a little while to react after we had a really good period. How we handled both boxes and discipline. To play with 11 players in this competition is key, and we didn't manage to do that. When we did a lot of things that we have to do, the game looked completely different. Obviously, Mikel talking about the sending off there for Dani Ceballos, so there will be no Dani Ceballos for Arsenal tonight. He is suspended, and it's going to be really interesting to see who lines up in central midfield for Arsenal. The team news is looking pretty good for Arsenal. David Luiz looks very, very unlikely. It didn't seem like he was involved in training. Mikel sort of hinted during his press conference yesterday that he had a chance, saying you never know with David, but I think it was always going to be a big ask for David Luiz to be available for this one, given he went off against Newcastle just on Sunday with a hamstring injury. Even if it's the smallest of hamstring strains or injuries, you don't really expect anyone to come back a few days later and play for that, certainly not in the European semi-final. So it's looking very, very unlikely that David Luiz will play, but Kieran Tierney and Alexander Lacazette, now they certainly look like they could well feature. They've been involved in full training for the last 2 days now. So you would expect they're certainly going to be involved. Whether they start or not, that remains to be seen. I certainly don't expect to see Alexander Lacazette start. I think Aubameyang will be central striker, given he scored at the weekend and he played 78 minutes and got those really sort of much needed minutes under his belt, really. I just can't imagine he's going to throw Laka straight back into the team, even though Laka was obviously doing very, very well before he picked up his injury. But Kieran Tierney, that's a whole other matter, I think, given the fact there's going to be no Ceballos and that you could do with having Granit Xhaka move back into his natural position at central midfield. I think the fact that, as I mentioned yesterday, if Kieran Tierney is available, even if he's 75-80% fit, I think you just play him in this one. I think you take that risk, given the game, given the magnitude of it, given what's at stake, and given it means you can move Granit Xhaka back into central midfield. I think it's just a risk worth taking. So, the team news is looking good. I think Mikel will be very happy that those two are available. Of course, let's face it, just about 2 weeks ago, I don't think any of us thought that either of them would be involved at all over these 2 legs. To have both of them available for the second leg will be a big boost. You sort of look in there, I talked about the left-back situation, really looking at the big decisions Mikel Arteta's got to make. He's got a few, I think, ahead of tonight. And we'll start with that left-back role. Like I said, really, I think if Kieran's fit, then you've got to play him just because of what it means in terms of Granit Xhaka moving into central midfield. You have other options. Mikel's obviously been playing Granit there along recently, and he's been speaking about exactly why he's been doing that and the fact he hasn't been changing, because while he's rotated a lot of players, as we saw against Newcastle, 8 changes, Granit Xhaka once again started, and he once again started at left-back. So he was asked, are you doing that just to give him some continuity in a role that he's not really accustomed to, just to get him used to it, really? And Mikel said that's been one of the reasons, because of the way we wanted to play and the players around. We've managed to get some clean sheets since he's been playing there, and that's something we didn't happen for 13 games. He gives something different to the team. Now, I don't think any of us can sit here and say Xhaka has not done well at left-back. I think he's filled in manfully and done a decent job, but although he may give something different to the team in terms of his quality of passing out from the back, I think what he doesn't give you is that overlapping fullback that really joins in the attack and gets beyond the winger, which we've seen Kieran Tierney do so well when he plays. I think Arteta is absolutely justified in praising the role Granit Xhaka has done at left back. But I think when you have Tierney available, it's not even a decision, really. It's just an absolute given. If Tierney can walk, then you play him in a game like this, I think. So that is obviously the key. You do have Cedric in there as well. And Mikel was talking about Cedric. He said, he's been a bit unfortunate because he's played some good games as right back. And then we had the injury to Kieran. He played at left back as well. We could have given him more opportunities, but Callum's come in and done really well at right back. So Cedric feels like he's a little bit out of the picture at the moment in terms of playing either right back or left back. So although he's an option, I don't see it. I think it's going to be a straight fight between Tierney and Xhaka for the left back role tonight. And I just think as long as Tierney's fit, it'll be him and Xhaka moving into central midfield. I think the other options he's got now, Martinelli or Pepe, that's a big one, I think, for tonight for Mikel. I think you're expecting certainly Saka is going to be lining up on the right. You're probably going to have Odegaard at the number 10. Obviously, there is the opportunity to play Smith Rowe over on the left-hand side. We've seen that happen before. Not sure if he'll do that tonight. I think it's probably going to be a fight between Pepe and Martinelli for this one, and it's going to be really, really interesting. Pepe obviously very, very good last week. While pretty much everyone underperformed in the first leg, Pepe played well. He caused them problems. He scored the penalty. Does he deserve to start tonight? A lot of people will say yes, but then what about Martinelli? Played on the left-hand side against Newcastle, was excellent, got the assist for Robert's goal, caused Newcastle all sorts of problems, and just once again looked really, really lively when he played there, as he has done in the past recently when he played against Sheffield United in the Premier League. Do you give Martinelli his big opportunity now in the biggest of games? I tend to think no. I think right now, as I'm sitting here thinking who's going to start, I think we'll probably see Pepe line up on the left, despite the performance that Martinelli produced against Newcastle. But it's certainly a decision that Mikel, I imagine, will have spent quite a lot of time thinking about this week, because Martinelli showed against Newcastle was a really mature performance. I think that's what really came away from when I was watching it on Sunday. I think Martinelli's always a bit of a chaotic player. He just doesn't stop charging around. He's just full of energy. And a willingness to try and run and everything like that. But I think what we saw against Newcastle, it just felt a little bit more mature. Almost, you could tell the coaching that Mikel and the coaching staff have been working with him on in keeping his position more and hugging that left-hand touchline. It seemed to work. It was a really impressive performance, I thought, from him. But I still think it's not going to be enough. I think in that battle between Pepe and Martinelli for tonight, just have a feeling it may well be Pepe. So that's another of the big decisions that Mikel's got to make. And there's also, what does he do at centre-back? Ideally, he would have played David Luiz. I think if Luiz had come through that Newcastle game, then he would have absolutely started tonight. We saw what he can bring to the team when he plays in that brief time he's on the pitch against Newcastle. I thought he was very, very good. His passing quality was fantastic. Heavily involved in the first goal with the ball over the top for Bellerin. So with no Luiz, it's like who plays? We know that Mikel tends to like that partnership of Mari and Holding. Didn't exactly play that well in the first leg, so what do you do then? Do you bring Gabriel in, but then you're not going to play Mari and Gabriel, so you're going to play Holding and Gabriel, and I don't feel that's a partnership that Mikel really thinks works. He tends to either go Luiz and Gabriel or Holding and Mari, so it's going to be a big decision for who starts tonight. I think Holding's certainly going to play, given that he plays on the right-hand side. It's just then who plays on that left-hand side of the centre-backs. Do you play Mari or do you play Gabriel? Got a sneaky feeling it might be Mari just because of that partnership that I talked about and the fact you don't tend to see Gabriel and Holding playing together. But again, we'll have to wait and see on that one. So those, I think, are the three big decisions for Mikel. Left-back, centre-back, left wing. Spoke to Aubameyang yesterday after Mikel Arteta's press conference. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet. You probably have seen some of the quotes. It was a really interesting chat with Aubameyang. We had about sort of 20-25 minutes from him. It was the first time I really spoke to him this season. And he spoke really, really well. He spoke about a lot of things about his own performances this season, how he kind of feels responsible going into tonight's game for Arsenal's situation this season because he knows he hasn't scored enough goals and what everyone was expecting. He opened up about his battle with malaria and how difficult and scary that was. He said he lost 4 kilos while in hospital. He said his family were really scared. He said it was the worst he's ever felt in his life. He also spoke about his mother's illness earlier and Arsenal releasing him on that personal leave that he was given. Just lots and lots of things. It's well worth trying to find them. I think Arsenal might have put it up on YouTube by now, the press conference, so it's worth watching if you don't see it. I mean, he talked about the game tonight, and it's interesting. It's almost 2 years to the day since Aubameyang scored that hat-trick in Valencia in Arsenal's last second leg Europa League semi-final. Breathtaking hat-trick. What a night that was. All were absolutely sensational, and almost 2 years to the day. Now, I know a lot of things can happen in football in 2 years, and they have happened at football in 2 years, certainly at Arsenal. But again, Arsenal need him to step up at the biggest of times this season. Tonight, it's not been a good season. He admitted yesterday in his press conference it's been one of the most difficult, certainly when he's become a senior player. He said he had some difficult ones when he was much, much younger, but certainly in terms of senior players, it was the most difficult he's had in years. But he knows he knows the importance of tonight's game. He speaks about it. He said, look, I'm really excited to play this game because it's a big game and it is a big moment for all of us. Hopefully we can deliver. For sure it will be one of the biggest games of my Arsenal career. Definitely this season is the most important, and we know we have to win this game. It's a big opportunity for us to get to the final. We play at home and maybe this is the biggest game of our Arsenal career. And talking about his own season, he says, look, it's been really tough because I had some issues on and off the pitch. Everyone was expecting me to score more goals. I know it. Maybe I feel a bit responsible for this situation we are now in. I want to give something back. I want to lead against Villarreal. Some really good words from Auba. I'll drop the piece I've done for sort of pre-match piece I've done for tonight's game and pin it in the comments below if you want to have a read of it, sort of looking back over Aubameyang's season and the difficulties he's faced and how tonight could be a perfect moment almost for redemption for him after this season. He speaks, like I said, he speaks about it there. Some really interesting quotes from the Arsenal captain. Okay, before I go, let's quickly go with my predicted 11 for tonight. Remember, as always, this isn't what I'm basing this on any information I've got or anything like that, or it's not the team that I want to see Mikel pick. This is a team that I believe I'm predicting that he's going to go for tonight. Obviously, Leno in goal. Yes, we saw Matt Ryan come in and do very, very well at the weekend against Newcastle, but I still think Leno will. I'll be very surprised if Matt Ryan starts tonight. I think Leno will get the nod. And then I'm going to go with a back four of, I think I'm going to go Chambers again. I think Bellerin's got a good shout. I know a lot of you don't, it's kind of moved on for the whole Bellerin thing, but I still think I'm not convinced. And I like Callum Chambers, but I'm not convinced by Callum Chambers playing at fullback for me. I just don't think he gives you enough going forward and on the overlap. And I think Bellerin showed again, he played a big part in the first goal at the weekend for El Neni against Newcastle. And although he's not had a good season, Bellerin, personally, I think I'd probably go for Bellerin at right back, but I don't think he will. I think we'll see Chambers there again. So back four I'm going for, that I'm predicting tonight from Arteta, will be Chambers, Holding, Mari and Tierney. So no Gabriel at centre-back. I just feel that partnership between Mari and Holding will probably get the nod from Mikel. And like I said in this video earlier, I think if Tierney is 65, 70, 75% fit, he plays tonight. So back four of Chambers, Holding, Mari and Tierney. Then I'm going to go with Partey and, of course, Granit Xhaka in central midfield, with Xhaka moving back into that role with Tierney playing at left back. And then I'm going to go with my front four. Saka, obviously rested against Newcastle. He will line up on the right-hand side. Martin Odegaard at number 10. Nicolas Pepe on the left. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as the central striker. Then likes of Lacazette, Martinelli, Smith Rowe all on the bench and available in the second half. And you've got to remember, there's a good chance this game could go to extra time. It could go to penalties. It's absolutely not beyond the realms of possibility that Arsenal win this one 2-1 after 90 minutes, and then we are into extra time and possibly penalties. So those benches could be really, really important for Arsenal and Villarreal tonight. You sort of look at the squad depth for the two players. The two squads, Arsenal certainly got the upper hand when it comes to that. And so if this does go into the long sort of runs on beyond the 90 minutes, then you think Arsenal will have a slight advantage there, although obviously you have the whole away goals rule coming in for that second, for that part of extra time as well, which is never a good thing. All right, that's about it from today's video. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. I will be heading up to the Emirates today. I'm going to head up there a little bit early, see if there are any of these protests that could be planned, or certainly see if there's this big welcome for the team outside the Emirates, a sort of coach welcome that has been talked about on social media. I think that'd be good. Mikel spoke about it yesterday. I'm sure you saw the quotes. I discussed it on the video as well about how he said it would be a really great idea because the players have missed seeing the fans so much. And yeah, wherever you're watching this one around the world, please do enjoy it. Cross those fingers to you all. This is a massive, massive game for Arsenal, for Mikel Arteta, and potentially for the summer and next season. We need a victory, and fingers crossed we are going to get it. I will try and do a live before the game tonight, reacting to the team news, showing the warm-ups, that sort of thing, as usual. So please do keep an eye out for that one. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the sunshine while it lasts, and fingers crossed for tonight. Come on, the Arsenal.